Really, like, the only experience you have with him is you played in the sandbox together,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and then, like, knew him when he was in school, but you were already probably done with school.
I mean, how old is he now? 60?
Yeah, he's in his 60s. This is his
Yeah.
retirement job.
Yeah, so, like, by the time I met him, I was already, like, 35 or 40.
Yeah.
So, played in the sandbox. Like, I imagine my character, participated in him playing in the sandbox as, like, a friendly stranger who has kids there would, which now I'm concerned.
I didn't think that far into it, Tristan. My thought is you knew him when he was a child. That's as far as I thought.
This is true.
Expect me to have details?
I mean, when Sam's character got introduced in my campaign as a 307-year-old elf, he had a person who was like a very servant-like man who helped around his house. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I basically helped raise him since he was a boy. He would come over and read my books, and so we became friends, and then he wanted to keep reading my books, and so he began serving in my house, and I just sort of rolled with it, and now he can have the house because I'm not coming back.
I like that, actually.
And the servant guy is, in his 50s or 40s or something like that, because that's how long, like, Sam's character had been in the village before the party came along and found him, as he had been there for 50, 60 years. So, like, yeah. They're friends now. Because he just stayed in the village, and the kid grew up and decided he liked the research that the guy was doing. Like, he was that friendly strange man that he knew when he was a child, and they grew up, and the friendly strange man was still there, and he's like, "You got cool books, I want to read them."
Friendly strange man.
Well, yeah. In any event, my point is that, like, yeah, it's fine. Like, he's known him, literally that guy's entire life. So, they would be on probably a first name basis and speaking terms.
It brings up an interesting point, though, and by the way, this is all going in the episode, but it brings up an interesting point that if you grow up as a human and there's an elf that you grow up knowing, your perspectives of each other are going to be interesting and unique.
The elf never really stops seeing you as that weird child that you were, even though you're now grown up.
And then from their perspective, you're a ship on the distance that never seems to move.
Yeah.
Like, to him, you've always been the same age.
Yeah. I like looking at the relationships between elves and humans, or people who have lifespans equivalent to humans, as, like, humans and dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can develop a...
what is the difference in life expectancy for elves and humans?
I can't speak exactly for Joseph, but in general in D&D, humans live about 100 years, and elves live about 700 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is like a human and a dog. Although I was proud of the ship on the horizon thing, but yeah. It's more accurately human and dog.
I'm not, disregarding your comparison. I was just stating that the comparison I usually use is dog, like a pet dog.
It's like eventually, as a human, you start to notice, hey, he looks a little bit different this year.
It's like every year, it's like, wow, you changed again. You look very different. Like, I haven't cut my hair in 100 years, but you seem to do it every few weeks.
It's blue now.
Yeah. Why do you move so fast?
Too much change.
My friend and I were just having an interesting discussion about it the other day, which was sparked by something on Twitter, which was the claim on Twitter that I took issue with was that human wizards tend to learn about the same amount of magic as elven wizards, but in, a sixth of the time. And so this was an indicator that like humans are that much smarter than elves. And my friend and I sat there and said, no, what it's an indicator of is that elves can let themselves be distracted and go and chase other fancies while continuing to learn the art of magic. They just, instead of taking the 10 years the human does, they take 60 years and they don't even notice that those 60 years went by. What they might notice is if the elf is looking at the human, they'll say, "Wow, you're really in a rush to do this," while they're just lazing about. Like they went and learned to golf for 10 years while the human was working away on spells. And I just thought that was very interesting. That somebody thought it was a comparison of their intellect or ability, and I'm just like, no, elves are aloof because they have practically eternity before them. They just do it when it interests them.
I would equally respect a human who is 20th level and an elf who is 20th level.
Yeah.
Because the human represents, in that case, ambition, and the elf, deep learning and knowledge.
Yeah. And I mean, and they're both also deep learning and knowledge.
Sure,
know?
Yes. There's an element of both.
Right. I'm just saying that, like, it was interesting that they decided to make it about intellect or ability instead of about time, when really we should be, when you think about elves and humans, the concept is time, and how much more time elves have to do whatever the heck they want than humans. You know, comparatively, humans are rushing around doing everything in a flurry, and elves are like, whoa, slow down, man. And the human's like, I can't, I've only got 10 more years before, I'm too old to do this.
Yeah. I was saying something to my son the
it.
other day about bugs' life cycles sometimes being a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was like, why is it that animals mature in 1 year? I was like, so they can have kids as quickly as possible.
They don't have a lot of life expectancy. There's a lot of predators out there.
Right.